that your wisdom would guide each member of this council throughout the evening together during this meeting, and that it would just bring great benefit to the citizens of Hutchinson. Thank you, Lord God, for just the love that you have for each one of us. You created us, Lord, for your glory and to live in love and to make a difference in this world. And so just pray, Lord, that you would be honored and glorified through this time as we meet tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you. Next, Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recognition of gifts, donations, and community service to the city. Does anybody have anything tonight? Alrighty, moving on. Citizens addressing the council. Just please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Alrighty, approval of minutes. We have the regular meeting minutes of September 26, 2023, and the council workshop of September 26, 2023.
Move to approve the minutes from both events.
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Dave to approve minutes as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Consent agenda, this will be done by one motion unless somebody pulls something off for discussion. A is approval of resolution number 15633, resolution setting interest rate for the 2023 adopted assessment rolls. B is approval of resolution number 15640, resolution supporting capital improvement and betterment of Otter Lake, Campbell Lake, and South Fork of the Crow River and other contributaries to the lakes. C is approval of resolution number 15641, resolution supporting capital improvements at the Hutchinson Area Transportation Services Building. D is approval of recycle aggregate crushing service. E is approval of grant agreement with the State of Minnesota Department of Employment and Economic Development. F is approval of a non-federal reimbursement agreements between the Federal Aviation Administration and the City of Hutchinson. G is approval of summary of ordinance number 23-842, ordinance amending Chapter 95 and 113 of the Hutchinson City Code. H is approval of Spooky Sprint event on October 28, 2023. I is claims appropriation and contract payments, Register A. Anything anybody wants pulled off?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second. Motion by Chad, second by Dave to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Claims or approval of consent agenda 2, claims appropriation contract payments, Register B. My son has a check on there for his business, so I'll be abstaining.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Chad, second by Pat to approve, with me abstaining. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Skipping down, let's go to unfinished business. Second reading and adoption of ordinance 23-843, ordinance vacating drainage and utility easements located in the Saddleman 3rd edition, and approve resolution number 15637, approving the vacation of utility easements at 505 Hilltop Drive Northeast and 515 Hilltop Drive Northeast. And I will be abstaining from this because that is property I own.
Council members, Dan Jokum presented this at the last council meeting following I believe the public hearing at the planning commission. There's been no changes to the proposed ordinance, and staff is recommending that you have the second reading and adoption of the ordinance and resolutions.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Chad to approve with me abstaining. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Will say nay. Motion carries. New business, first reading of ordinance number 23-840, ordinance amending chapter 92 of the Hutchinson City Code pertaining to weeds.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. John Paulson wasn't able to be with us tonight, so I thought I'd take a few minutes just to explain the reason for the policy. As you might have seen in your packet with the slate of legislation this year, one of the things that came out of it was a requirement for all cities to develop a natural landscape plan. And so we took our existing policy known as the weed ordinance and thought there was need for some updating of it along with the natural landscape plan. So we developed a process for it, cleaned up some of the semantics and others, tried to change maybe some of the connotation with some of the other changes also legislatively, and have that for a presentation tonight. So be happy to answer any questions you might have about the policy or implementation of it.
I think Mark wanted me to know this is the non-smoking.
But I hear that here.
Note that we're using nuisance vegetation.
Yeah. I like that new language, yeah. Any other? Entertain a motion.
Motion to approve 23-840. Second.
Motion by Pat, second by Tim to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay. Motion carries. Resolution number 15642, resolution approving the 2024 employee benefit package.
Evening, Mayor and Council. All right, so in prior years, we haven't brought a summary of all of the renewal information for the following year. Matt and I discussed and thought it'd be good to do that moving forward. So I've got a couple of different things that I'll show you. A bulk of our time is going to be spent on the medical plan because as we have discussed prior, there's a pretty significant increase in premiums for 2024. So first we'll just go, can everyone see that okay? Okay. So we'll just go over kind of the high level of all of the benefits that are in place, including two new options that are noted here. So gives you kind of the total cost breakdown here, splits it out with the employee contributions and then the net cost to the city of Hutchinson. This is something that's put together by our brokers, USI, and then we also have, we'll get to in a second, an analysis that Andy did specifically for the city. So Health Partners, obviously our medical insurance. Nice healthcare is something that we added in 2023. That is something that the city pays for that allows employees that are on the health plan to seek virtual and in-home care to help offset costs, related to possible urgent care visits. So a lot of acute issues they deal with. We've gotten really great feedback. But as you can see, it's a pretty significant line item. The goal with this is to help reduce the usage of the medical plan when it comes to that urgent and emergency care to help kind of keep our claims down there. Sent out a reminder today for everyone to download the app and to utilize it. I think the last time we checked in, we were at about 6% utilization, which is a little bit low. but actually not too far off for groups within their first year. So hopefully we can continue to drive that up. Current HSA contributions for an individual, we contribute $1,000 for any additional dependents. That's a $2,000 HSA contribution. Sun Life Dental, you'll see that we have administration costs and projected claims. This is technically a self-funded plan, so then we pay the claims separate from the administration fees. Vision is something that will be added. So both vision and short-term disability both came up on the benefit survey that we did this year. So took a look at a couple different options for those. And all of this has, of course, been vetted through the wage committee as well as the leadership team. Unum Life, we have both the city paid coverages as well as the voluntary coverages that are available for life coverage, AD&D, and then the LTD, long-term disability, which you'll see down here, is a city cost. So then it just breaks down the contributions for the employees here and then the cost to the city. All of the following pages, these were included in the packet, go into the specifics of the plan. So we take a look at this here and there. We don't have any major changes this year other than adding those couple coverages. We didn't see rate increases for a lot of those either. So we're pretty lucky there. But again, the biggest conversation we'll have tonight is here on the health plan, and I'll show you Andy's information as well as what USI has given us. So currently, this will show you our two plans. We've got a $2,000, $4,000 deductible plan, and then we've got a $3,000, $6,000 deductible plan. Biggest difference between those, other than of course the out-of-pocket cost, is that the $2,000 plan is a non-embedded plan and the $3,000 plan is an embedded plan. What that means is when you're on this as a family, this $3,000 one, each individual only needs to meet an individual deductible of $3,000, not the $6,000. If you have a family on this $2,000, $4,000, there is no embedded deductible. So if only one person is using it, they have to hit the $4,000. That $2,000 becomes irrelevant as soon as you add a dependent. So current costs right here, along with the renewal information over here. As noted, in order to keep this plan embedded, we have to raise this deductible by $2,000. That's an IRS requirement. $200, thank you. That's something that the IRS does on an annual basis, just like they adjust the HSA contribution maximums. So this is, if we keep the plan exactly as it is, which is what we're recommending for 2024 only, here shows kind of the cost breakdowns. Now, one thing that we thought was going to be important to show was this alternate. Right here it shows this open access, and you'll see over here it shows the Achieve network. This is something that we'll consider for future years should our usage still not go as great as we would like it to. Achieve is a narrow network, but it's still a health partners network, so it's a little bit broader than other narrow networks that we've had in the past. But currently we have open access, which really allows the most flexibility for our employees to seek the care that they need with the provider that they want. But we thought it was important to show these options, this raising the $2,000 deductible to a $2,500 deductible and raising the $3,000 to a $4,000. It does show some pretty significant savings to the city for 2024, but of course adds the out-of-pocket costs for our employees raising those deductibles. So what Andy did is he came up, so what we have up here is comparing if we were to adopt this higher deductible model, what the savings would be annualized, and then what the out-of-pocket increase would be. And so what he noted here is that adjusting the deductible for 2024 would save the general fund $73,000, but again would expose employees to a higher potential out-of-pocket costs. This one down here is a comparison of the low deductible to the high deductible plans. The biggest reason for us showing this here, probably not for 24, but for future years, we want to take a look at having plans that are different enough that either encourage people to be on one plan or potentially have kind of an added cost to be on a higher benefit plan. What USI explains this as is kind of having your base plan and then having a buyout plan. What we're showing here is just right now there's not a lot of separation with our two plans. So in the future, we might take a look at that to kind of help kind of contain the costs. Bless you. So, like I mentioned, right now our recommendation, that went through the wage committee as well as the leadership team is to kind of remain as is. Keep the two plans, the 2,000, 4,000, and then the 3,264 in place for 2024 to give us more time to see what our claims data is looking at. If it continues to go up, we, have been pretty transparent with the groups we've talked to that, we'll likely have to make some plan changes. Luckily with Health Partners, we do have some options. Again, we have that more narrow network, but that still has good options there. To be able to have something that's still a good product for our employees, but really provides a better cost savings for the city. Anything you want to add, Matt?
I will note that we did shop out the plan.
Yes.
And only one provider gave us an option back, and it was higher than the Health Partners proposal. So I think some of that had to do with the fact that we switched from Medicare to Health Partners last year, and so we just don't have that history of claims underneath our network. So, and I think one of the rationales too is that, at least something to keep in mind, the last 3 years, we've either had a decrease in our rates or a flat adjustment. And so we're hoping this is just maybe a blip. But I think the committees are willing to recommend changes in the future if it continues, especially with the high costs. But I would know, and I know Kelly noted this in the board action form, I think with the tight labor market, that was part of our reason of not changing anything right now, but also realizing that we can't continue at the pace of where the costs are. So.
Questions?
I think you did a good job with it, Kelly. I think, just so the citizens are aware, just like you said, Matt, that the costs really came up this year, and you're fully prepared next year to present some different options if it should do that again, and cost the employees some, but the city is covering it this year, which I think is a very nice incentive, like you said, Matt, to keep our employees. We want them.
And even with this, obviously, the change in the costs, the costs are being borne by both the city and the employees. So it's not just the city covering all of the costs. This is just like in years past when we've had savings, that's been shared by both the employees and the city.
Right, we'll keep the 80-20 split in place. That is one thing that USI continues to bring up to us that, that's an area that we could take a look at. We've held pretty firm on that just to be competitive with other city entities that are kind of in our area or in our market. But that's an area that we could look at too, kind of when we're talking about that base plan and then that buyout plan. So yeah, there, both the city and employees are going to see an increase, but that deductible stays low. So should somebody really need to fully maximize that care, it's not as big of a hit out of pocket.
I think we're going down the same pathway as even private, because everybody I've talked to, their health care has gone up, and I know that, like Matt said, I think sharing the costs increase, between the city and the employee is this reality. So, any other questions for Kelly?
No.
Thank you.
Entertaining a motion?
Motion to approve resolution 15642, approving 2024 employee package.
I would second that.
Motion by Pat, second by Chad to approve. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Setting council workshop for October 24th, 2023 at 4 p.m. to review community survey results.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, I know I did send out kind of the full package of the survey results to the council, I think 2 weeks ago now. I've had the opportunity to go through most of that, put together kind of a summary report, and so I'll be looking to present that to the council and to the community. And asking to set that workshop for 4 PM before our next council meeting.
Motion to approve that date.
Second.
Motion by Tim, second by Dave to set that workshop for October 24th, 2023 at 4 PM. Any other discussion? Motion by Tim, second by Dave to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
What, did I throw you off there, Tim?
Yeah. Coming back to it. Yes, I
Keep
did.
you on your toes, I like that. We have, tall grass, not just weeds, report for the summer of 2023. Mike, you have anything else for us?
I'll mention 2 things real quick.
Sure.
One of the residents' favorite programs, the leaf collection program, started today, so we'll run for the next 6 weeks. So probably with all the rain coming this weekend, good that we're getting a first sweep of the city streets this week. So that got off to a good start today. Second, just a reminder, we've got one of our last paving projects scheduled for next week. So we'll be milling 2nd Avenue, Dale, and Market Street over by the fairgrounds with hopes of paving then during MEA. So we should avoid some of that traffic around Park Elementary. Other than that, that's it, unless there are any questions.
How's the construction going?
Construction going well on anything in particular?
The alleys?
Alleys?
I know I had a few people ask about what's going on.
Yeah, they're pretty much ready now for what we anticipate them paving at the same time they do Second's, the same vendor. And so we anticipate they're going to pave that at the same time. So it adds a week, 10 days to the project, but makes some sense for staging.
All right, thank you. Mark, you have anything for us?
Nothing tonight.
All righty. Pat, let's start with you.
Nothing.
Chad,
Nothing.
Timmy,
All's quiet on the Western Front. We're good.
Dave.
Well, yes, if I was gonna say anything tonight, it doesn't have much to do with council probably, but, the event center had a trip to Stillwater today. And, of course, I'm old enough to take advantage of that, so we went there, not thinking I was gonna get home in time and get to my council meeting on time, but we made it, so that was good. But they do a fantastic job with that program they have. They try to do something once a month.
Is it the senior
And
center?
if you haven't taken advantage of it, I would certainly suggest that you do. I mean, not everything's gonna fit your agenda, basically, but a lot of things do, and it's very interesting. Julie does a lot of work pre-hand, so she knows what's going on, and yeah, we got on the river and had lunch and got off the river. And then we went to the original Stillwater prison, which was constructed in 1841, I believe it was. See, you remember how I remember?
Yeah.
But anyway, the warden's quarters is being remodeled, and it's a phenomenal tour. I just could not, I've been to a lot of tours in my life, but this one was one of the better ones I've ever been to, and a lot of history that's involved with that till 1914 when they moved the prison to Bayport. They went from 18 acres, I think it was, to 160 acres. And finally, the last warden finally decided that there had to be changes made, and that where it was at was not the place to have it at. So, had as high as many as I want to say 7,000 prisoners in there at one time. So it was a hellhole, pardon the French, for quite a while before they got it changed. But anyway, very interesting. But I just encourage people to, if you read it in the paper or you read it in your senior news or whatever the case is, or, you know, if you want to do something that's relatively inexpensive to start with, so it doesn't hurt your pocketbook too bad. And I thank them for that today, so, you know.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
Matt.
Just one quick thing, recognition event invites went out, and so just a reminder, RSVP if you haven't yet. So, That's it for me otherwise.
Well, I don't have anything because you gotta go to a volleyball game, so.
Oh, we still have one more item on
Yep.
there.
All right. We are going to go into a closed session. The purpose of this closed session is to develop or consider offer for the sale of real estate property located at 44 Washington Avenue West, 10 Franklin Street Southwest, 28 Franklin Street Southwest, and 127 First Avenue under Minnesota Statute 13D.05, subdivision 3C. I would now entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss the possible sale of real estate located at 44 Washington, 10 Franklin, 28 Franklin, and 127 First Avenue.
So moved.
Just one quick point of clarification, we are not selling 127 First Avenue Southwest.
That's what I
That was a typo by me, so.
That's what I thought, but
Yep.
I was gonna
Sorry.
mention that.
Nope, I forgot to, that was a copy and paste error.
Motion by Pat,
I'll second.
second by Tim. Possible sale of real estate. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The city council has convened into a closed session to the possible sale of real estate properties located at 44 Washington Avenue West, 10 Franklin Street South. Time now is 5:57 PM.